welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is the show which demystifies technology, old and new. And I say old because we're kind of doing a little retro technology today.
I was going to say, this looks a little bit old here.
Retro, yeah, it's television technology. As you may know, the world of transmitted television is going from analog signals to digital in various parts of the world, in the US recently, in Canada, Australia, and Europe over the coming years. So we kind of look at how do you grab this digital signal out of the air and get free TV on your old TV.
And it's not just about that, because at some point they're going to switch the old TV off, so you're going to have to kind of need to get this new technology at a certain point. So.
That's right. So today, digital content over the air on your TV on Lab Rats. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to show you all the gadgets and gizmos you need to make that work after this. Now, any minute now in the US, all the broadcasters are going to turn off their analog terrestrial transmissions. So what that means is, in the old days, all TV stations had antennas, and they broadcast out the signal into the air. And it went out on an analog wave.
Yes,
right?
so it used a carrier wave that was modified with various things to form a picture when it was decoded at the other end.
Right. And in the old days, you had rabbit ears, right? You had rabbit ears. Later on, we got cable and satellite, which improved the picture. But the guys out there in TV land are still transmitting out into the ether in the old-fashioned way, so you can still get their programming on rabbit ears.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people out there, it's worth noting, that actually don't have access to cable and can't afford satellite. So people that may be out in the country, for example, they need to get their local programming over the rabbit ears, over the air. Right.
But here's the problem. What's going to happen is the broadcast has been mandated to turn it all off and replace it with a digital signal. Now that's good news, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because digital means it's a more pure form of transmission. So no more snow tuning the picture in and out and trying to get your rabbit ears just right. Mm-hmm. You either have a good solid digital signal and you're receiving all of that image, or there's no picture. Maybe in between there's sort of pixelated artifacts as it's trying to generate the right information to produce the picture. Mm-hmm. But really, it's an on-off proposition. And that's what digital is. It's one-offs, ones and zeros.
One or zero, on or off.
Right. So, so ultimately, they're going to switch to ones and zeros, transmitting that out into the ether, which you can still capture with rabbit ears, which is good news. The bad news is that your old rabbit ears won't work. You're going to have to find yourself a digital box, a tuner, to capture these new types of signals.
Actually, that's not 100% true, because your older rabbit ears may work, but you need to put something else in between them.
Well, and I was getting to that. Thank you, Mr. Carruthers. No, and so let's talk a bit about that. So how do you capture your digital signal, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a couple of different ways to do that. You could, if you have a new HD television, HD-capable television, it probably has what's called an ATSC tuner, which is a digital tuner, right?
Yes.
Now, there are two types of televisions you might be able to get from the store. One is HD ready, which means the ATSC tuner is in there, and if you're in the States, all your HD TVs will have that.
Right.
If you're in Canada and other countries, it may or may not. It may be HD compatible, meaning there's no tuner built in.
But it can display the signal if you attach it somehow.
Right. So, so what you want to do is actually check out your HD TV, have a look at the back of it, check the manual, see if it has an ATSC tuner. If that's the case, all you need is an antenna, and your old rabbit ears will do fine.
Yeah, just rip them off the old set, put them on the new one.
Plug them into the back of that HD TV with the ATSC tuner, and you will get over-the-air digital transmissions, no problem.
So if you've already got this hooked into your new TV, something within the last 2 years or so, chances are you may already be watching digital TV already. Right,
exactly. Now, you may, if you have a cable or satellite hookups on your television, well, then you're getting a digital signal anyway. Most of the boxes these days are digital converted. You don't have to worry about it. We're not talking about over the air here. We're talking about it piped in.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you have an old set, you have an old television, it doesn't have an or you have a new one without an ATSC tuner, then you're going to need an intermediary device.
Right. So these are old ones that were built just to receive the analog signal. That's all they knew about when they were manufactured. That's all they can receive.
That's right. And what you're going to need is one of these little boxes. Now, the American government, see if we can crank this up. This is a little box I picked up the other week. It's about $35. I've seen them for anywhere from $25 all the way to $60 or $70. I know the U.S. government was offering a rebate for a while. They're not expensive generally. And what this does is basically take the signal from the antenna, convert the digital signal, and make it into a picture.
Right, so we were talking before about your old rabbit ears potentially being useful on these old TVs. Well, you take this, take it away from the TV, unplug it from the TV, plug it into that, then plug that into the TV, basically.
Exactly, exactly. Now let's, can we flip it over and I'll show you a little bit about how this works. It's just like a cable box, actually. And in the back here, actually, let's go to the back. In the back here, you'll see your standard inputs. The antenna goes in here. This comes out to the television, and you have your optional composite connectors there as well. There's power, of course.
Yeah, so they give you a few different ways to connect to your television, potentially, or to your home entertainment system.
And you should note, in fact, was a surprise to me. Notice it says HD on here. The company's called Access HD. It's not high definition. The signal coming out of this is standard definition. It will capture an HD signal, and it will down convert to a standard definition. So don't be tricked by that.
Yeah. So no matter what you do, your old television, if it's a tube-based one that was based, the old 4x3, it's not going to display HD.
HD, no matter what you do, no matter what you attach to it, it doesn't have the physical capability to do that high-definition picture. But this will down convert a signal into something that it can use. Okay.
Good.
So the cool thing about a device like this, though, is you can actually check the signal. So I'm going to click on the signal level here, and as you see, there is it says weak, normal, and then good, right? And that's determining the signal coming in from the antenna. Now I have an antenna here. This is the RCA flat antenna, which I love. It's great.
It's a big white box.
Very low profile. Sits on the top of your TV or on a windowsill. You can move it around, and if you do move it around, as you can see.
Yeah, it goes from weak to normal to good.
Right.
It says it starts to lose information. Some of the digital information, you get a little bit of artifacting there.
Right.
So the picture has a bit of noise. And you may have seen this actually from your satellite or your cable as well, because they receive digital pictures, and if they fail, you sometimes get those little boxes across the screen.
Artifacting, that's right. Yeah. So this device here runs, I think it was $35 or $45. It plugs into the back of this device, and it's an antenna.
Yeah. Yeah, and just for the record, you may be noticing a lot more of that going on here, and that's because we're hovering around these antennas right now.
Causing disruption.
We're causing interference here. So you place it somewhere away from where you're going to be walking, away from other sources of transmission, and you should be fine.
So once you get one of these guys and you tune it, you plug it in. You're going to do a scan on the channels, and it will actually give you various information. So if I change my channel, I've done a scan already here. But if I switch this over, you'll see in the top right-hand corner. Let's see if I can get this going here. Using the remote backwards, you'll see the channel information, whether it's HD. Now this is HD down converted. Or DT, digital television. This means it's digital.
And take a note of one thing up there that is different. It's saying channel 44-1. We'll get to that later.
Let's get to that now.
Well, okay. Well, one of the things with digital as opposed to the old analog signal is it takes up a lot less space on the radio spectrum. So these old ones, so for example, you've got channel 5, it takes up this amount of frequency, so that signal's bouncing back and forth between there. That's simplification, but you get the idea. It takes up all of that spectrum. Right. By going digital, they can narrow it right down. And this is one of the reasons they're doing this, is so they can free up some of this bandwidth for emergency services, resell it to other people that might need it, put it into different uses besides strictly television. But in this case, a lot of these channels here can use a much narrower space, but they're pulling back out by adding sub-channels to these things. So we've got, say, 45-1, but they can have 45-2, which has a different language track. Right. They can do 45-3, which actually has a standard definition track on it.
So you have audio 1, audio 2, and for those of you who know what the SAP feature is on your television, this is the same. Like sometimes you could have an alternate language track. So the Spanish subtitle version. There's one for, I guess, for the visually impaired, which is just described, that sort of thing.
Right, and the interesting thing about this is if you don't do this as all HD, so you can have an HD channel as your main thing and then divide the rest of that little allotment that you have among different audio tracks. But if you do it all standard definition, which you can still do on a digital thing, you can actually have completely different channels. So if you're a local access channel, you can actually have 4 different channels, different streams.
In the same spectrum.
In the same. So 45-1 would be one show, the Andy Show. 45-2 would be the Sean Show. 45-3 would be the Matt Show. And just so on like that. So you can actually become very efficient at using that space, multiple channels for the price of one.
Makes sense. So there you go. So there's one of the reasons why it makes a whole lot of sense to for the world to go from analog transmission to digital, more real estate space, better picture quality. The other thing that we should mention is one of the advantages is the fact that there's no regional blackouts. Like if you're getting it over the air, there's no way that anybody can block that signal. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting the source the transmission, because what happens on cable and satellite, things like that is, especially when it comes to sports, they will block out transmissions in certain cities to ensure that, I guess, the locals, right, Matt, go to the local game, as opposed to watching it on TV. Or there's some rights issues too, correct?
Yeah. It could be a commercial issue too. So for example, say you're watching the Super Bowl in Canada, you'll get a whole bunch of stinky Canadian commercials rather than the ones that they want you to see in the States because they're cool.
Right. Exactly.
And now if you're sitting here on a border city like we are in Toronto, we can actually pull in the signal from New York State and see all those commercials or games that are running over there that they don't want to see on Canadian TV.
Makes sense. I did want to have a final discussion, though, about antennas. Because I think really that's going to make or break your experience here. Mm-hmm. Here on the desk we have 3 different antennas. Mm-hmm. If you can plug your old rabbit ears into your cable box or into your television, that will work just fine. There are a couple of solutions here. These 2 in front of us here, actually that one's supposed to be an HD TV antenna. Mm-hmm. It's designed to be a directional antenna. You can move it and get an improved signal. I haven't discovered that it's any better than your more traditional rabbit ears. This one has rabbit ears built in, and it has that special antenna, and if I can find it here, it actually has a powered solution, so the signal is boosted. It has a digital image processor in it. My experience of it didn't work so well.
Yeah, and this is a gigantic solution. This just looks like the old days when it's bigger than the TV.
It is.
Look at it. This is bigger than this widescreen television.
So it's not particularly efficient. Your wife or girlfriend or mom may hate this. So.
Yeah, no sale.
No sale there. So I'm not a big fan of these. I did find one though that really works well, and this is the one we've actually been watching. This is an RCA flat antenna, as you can see. It's nice and flat. And what it does is it just sits anywhere, like it's flat on your top of your TV or on a windowsill or something, and actually works extremely well. I'm really impressed with this. This is about $35 or $45.
That's not too bad.
Super affordable and living room friendly and that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you really, really, really want to go big, if you still have that gigantic antenna on the top of your house from the 70s and you never bothered to take it down, well, pull out the wire and hook it back in, because that's going to give you the best signal of all of them.
Yeah, the external antennas absolutely are your best solution here. If you want to get great, free, over-the-air, high-definition or digital television, use an external antenna. Or maybe go buy a new one and install it on your house.
This is retro, isn't it?
It's pretty retro.
We are going into the past.
Ultimately, though, is this better than cable or satellite?
Maybe.
I mean, it's free. It's free, right?
It's free.
You're probably not going to dump because there's certain content that you get over cable or satellite. Mm-hmm. It's great to have uncompressed HD signal if you get that. Mm-hmm. It's great to get free content for a change instead of paying $100 a month for your cable bill. But in the end, is it going to solve your problem? Probably not. It's a fun thing to do, and especially after the cottage, if you want to save your old TV and make it still work.
That's the reason. As more free content is available on the net through services like Hulu or just download through the individual channels, I think this might be a better solution for a lot of people. So what you can't get there, go for on here.
There you go. All right. Let's take a break, and when we come back, I think our usual picture time, the usual nonsense at the end of the show. So stay with us and tune us in so that we can show you all the people that have sent their pictures in. Now, it's not just Lab Rats that explains this to you. We have many shows on the Butterscotch.com network. And we have a show called The Noob, which actually covered this in fairly big detail and gave us a little bit of historical perspective on it. It's the show, this particular episode about digital TV and its switchover, stars me. So it's 100% Sean-free, which is always good. And so you can check that out on Butterscotch.com. But let's just have a look at a clip of that show just to give you a taste of it. But if you want to see the whole thing, just head on over to Butterscotch.com and push play, because you can see the whole thing there. So let's take a look at this, and we'll be back with Picture Time after this.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List.
Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
If you get your TV via cable or satellite, this change shouldn't affect you at all. You'll continue to receive your cable or satellite television as you always have. Likewise, this won't affect any of the other gear that you have hooked up to your TV. Your gaming machine, your DVD player, or even your VCR will continue to function as they always have. What will change, however, is over-the-air television. In anticipation of the switch, many broadcasters are transmitting signals in both analog and digital. Once the analog signal is turned off, most televisions made before 2007 will stop receiving over-the-air programming.
That clip was missing something.
Yeah, you, right?
Yeah, it was missing me.
Yeah, I know. But actually, you did cut it.
I did cut it, and I did write a lot of it as well.
Yeah. So it actually wasn't so
It wasn't
shot-free,
100%
actually.
shot-free. Before we get to picture time, I want to
Yes.
mention a couple things here.
Yeah.
Number one, there's a book right here, Switching to Digital TV.
Oh, that's a book I wrote, right?
No, it's not a book that you wrote. In fact, this book actually has more Sean in it than Andy, for a change.
Wow.
I tech edited this book, but it's actually by Michael Miller, who's a journalist in the States, who went through all the details of the tech switchover, what you need to do. So we can only cover so much in a 20-minute show, but he goes through all of the permutations of if you have this type of TV, this is what you got to do. If you've got this type of antenna, this is how you connect it, what you need to do, where to go, where to get your rebate, all of that information. I'm not sure whether the rebate's still going, but it gives all the information you need.
Fantastic.
So there you go, on Q Press, Michael Miller, Switching to Digital TV.
That's awesome.
And also, I just want to bring this up because this was kind of interesting, something I've had for a little while. It's from a company called Elgato. It's called the iTV Hybrid. Now this right here is actually a USB connector device. There's a few of these that are available for both Mac and PC. This one is for the Mac. And I think this one actually does work on PC as well. But what it is an AT-SC tuner in here, so you can actually watch digital TV over the air just by plugging this into your USB port.
It's cool. How much?
It varies depending on where you go, about $100 or less.
Okay, cool.
So there you go.
Thanks. All right, and now my favorite part of the show, picture time.
There we go. So we have one picture for you today. And this one was, remember we talked about low resolution pictures over the air, a bit of snow. We got the one from Steven. It's a little bit grainy here. So, but there you go. Steven's in Oshawa. He's actually, I think he's a teacher. And he's been using some of our stuff to teach some concepts. So thank you so much,
Oh,
Steve.
yeah, very good. All right. Well, if you want to send your picture into LabRats and have it appear on the show, you can email.
Don't get an antenna that's as big as your head or as your TV or as your car at librats.tv.
Yeah, more simply.
Feedback at librats.tv.
There you go. All right.
I mean, look at the size of this thing. It's huge.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, well. All right, well, thank you for pushing play this week. We love that you're out there because it would be foolish to be here if you weren't. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And we'll see you next time.
And don't forget to buy the book There's More Me Than Him.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Some technology worth looking at that is actually you're being forced to. I'm going to start this episode again because I'm just stuttering and going on like crazy. Let's try it again.
Okay. Okay,
I'll give you $10 to leave that in.